Hi everyone, my name is Chris and I'm the curate at St James and St Luke's churches. Today we're going to be thinking about how we show respect to other people. I'm going to start by showing you some pictures of people doing particular jobs, and I'd like you to think about the kind of work that each one of them is doing. Policemen and women. Firefighter. Doctor. You may like to pause the video for a few moments while you share ideas of the kind of work that these people do. Because of their jobs, these people have gained respect from others. For example, we respect firefighters because they go into burning buildings and save people's lives. And we respect doctors because they treat people when they're ill and help to make them better. But what about cleaners? Cleaners also perform a very important job. They might not be seen as saving people's lives in an emergency, but if our schools and hospitals were dirty and mucky, and there'd be germs everywhere, and people would get ill. In fact, all kinds of jobs are important, and the people who do them deserve our respect. Some jobs are unpopular, but they still have to be done by someone. I wonder, have you ever heard of the job of tax collector? Being a tax collector could be thought of as an unpopular job. Tax collectors collect money for the government from adults who have to pay a proportion of their wages, the money they earn when they work, in tax. They're not always happy about giving away the money that they've earned to the government. However, this is the money that pays for things like schools and hospitals, people to empty the rubbish bins, mend the roads. In Jesus' day, tax collectors were especially unpopular because they were dishonest. They often overcharged people and kept the extra money for themselves. Just imagine if you went to pay your taxes and the tax collector said, that's £10 for your taxes plus £5 for me to buy myself some nice things. That's a total of £15 for you to pay. You wouldn't like it one little bit, would you? And this dishonesty meant that tax collectors were outcasts. People who are cast out, not included, hated, looked down upon. It's not nice to be in that position. And sometimes we might feel like outcasts too, if we're not included in games or if our friends quarrel with us. But Jesus didn't consider anyone to be an outcast. He wanted everyone to feel wanted and loved, and everyone to be respected. I'm going to tell you a story from the Bible about a taxman that nobody liked, but Jesus welcomed him. But I need your help. When you hear me say, everybody cheered, I'd like you to do a big hooray! And when everybody moaned, Can you do that? Let's give it a practice now. Everybody cheered, hooray! Everybody moaned, groan. Jesus and the taxman. Jesus is coming, somebody shouted. Jesus is coming to Jericho. And everybody ran out to meet him. Everybody cheered, hooray! Well, almost everybody. For there was one man, one wee little man, who did not run to meet Jesus, and his name was Zacchaeus. It's not that Zacchaeus didn't want to see Jesus. He did. He really did. But not only was Zacchaeus very short, he was also afraid of the crowd. You see, not many people liked him, partly because he was a tax collector, but mostly because he collected more taxes than he was supposed to and kept what was left for himself. Everybody groaned. Grrr. "Jesus is here," somebody shouted. "Jesus is here in Jericho." And everybody cheered, "Hooray!" as he walked through the city gates. Well, almost everybody, for Zacchaeus did not feel like cheering at all. He wanted to see Jesus, he really did, but how could he walk out there in front of all those people he'd cheated? And what would they do if they got hold of him? Then Zacchaeus had an idea. There were trees by the city gates, big, tall trees. If he could sneak behind the crowd and climb up one of those trees, he could see Jesus, but the people wouldn't be able to see him. And so he went out of his house through the empty streets and climbed up one of those trees. Then Jesus came along and he looked straight up at the trees and he said, "Zacchaeus, Zacchaeus, come down. I'm eating at your house today." "Zacchaeus," somebody shouted. "Jesus is eating with Zacchaeus? He's the worst man in town. There must be some mistake." And everybody moaned. Grrr. Well, almost everybody. One wee little man, climbed down from the tree, shocked as all the rest. Why would someone as good as Jesus want to come and eat with someone as bad as him? But he was happy too, happier than he'd been for a long time. And so, with a smile spreading across his face, Zacchaeus led Jesus to his house. "What are they saying?" somebody whispered. "What are they doing in there?" And everybody gathered round the taxman's door. That's when Zacchaeus threw open the doors with a loud bang. "Greetings, everyone," he said. "I have an announcement to make. I've been talking with my new friend Jesus, and I realise there are a few things that I need to change. I've cheated some of you, I admit that, and I want you to know that I am going to change. So I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, in fact, that I am going to pay you back 4 times what I stole from you. What's more, I intend to sell half of what I own and give the money to the poor." The crowd was shocked. Never in their whole lives had they seen anyone change like that. They stood there with their mouths wide open, and nobody said a thing. Well, almost nobody. "Don't you see," said Jesus to the crowd, "God has sent me to share his love with everybody, even those who have done some very bad things. And that's what I've done. And now Zacchaeus loves God too." And that's when the crowd began to cheer. Hooray! And Jesus and Zacchaeus and the whole town of Jericho, everybody cheered. Hooray! So we've heard how Jesus loved everybody, even those who did wrong things, even those that other people hated, even the outcast. We're going to be quiet for a moment now, and I'd like you to think about what it would feel like to be outcast, someone who's not included, someone who's hated, someone who's looked down upon. So let's sit quietly for a few moments. I'm going to say a prayer now, and if you want to make this prayer your prayer, then repeat the Amen after me at the end. Dear God, help us to love everyone, whoever they are. Help us to include everyone in the things that we do. Help us to be thankful for the people who help us. Help us always to treat people with respect. Amen. Amen. Thank you for listening so well. Goodbye and see you next time.